Are we ready for day 3? Let's do this. Okay, so we've already talked about flexibility and strength. Today we're going to put both of those two together. Now we've already talked about why they work so well together and how flexibility can help you gain strength and how strength can help you gain flexibility and how they help to protect your body and to improve your yoga poses at the end of the day. When we work on both of these things, we really see a major difference in our physical body. But today I want to talk to you a little bit more on why you need to do this and why it is so important that we start working on this right now. So as we work through flexibility and strength, we're creating a balance in the body. We're helping us to prevent injuries, we're helping to stabilize our body, to improve our posture, and all of these things get really affected by age, okay? Every single minute, every single second we're aging, right? We're aging all the time. So to help us age better and to help us age so that we can still function normally and as we did before, we need to be focusing on strength and flexibility. This is why it is so crucial that we start focusing on this now, because every hour, every day, you are decreasing in flexibility and strength and all of this stuff that happens when we age. So it's really crucial that we do start the work now. And like I've said, if you've been listening through day 1 and part 2, you'll know that consistency is key. And this can just be 5 minutes a day, okay? It's not something that you then have to, oh my God, I've got to work out for an hour every single day because I'm getting older and I need to keep my body in shape. You don't have to do an hour a day, okay? 5 minutes a day is okay. If you can do more, that's better, but consistency really is key. So doing an hour a week is actually not as good for you as doing 5 minutes a day, okay? So bear that in mind, right? You do not have to do an hour every single day, but 5 minutes is good enough. And we use this in everyday life, right? Like yesterday with lugging the washing around and gardening and picking up your kids. All of these things actually take flexibility and strength. So we're using that, right? You can imagine, say, most parents will relate to this. The more you pick up the kid, the more your body gets used to holding the kid, right? Your body actually gets stronger as they age and get bigger and add more weight. You get stronger as you're holding them too. So it's really crucial that we carry on that work. So you can imagine what happens when you stop, right? Before you had kids, before you had that 5-year-old that you're picking up, you probably would think, oh my God, I can't do this for very long. But your body's got used to it as you go along, right? So it's really good that we focus on flexibility and strength. And that is exactly what today's practice is all about. So we're going to be putting together what we've learned in part 1 and part 2 in a little routine. But before we begin, let's just go over those 5 things again, okay? First one, consistency. 5 minutes a day is better than nothing, okay? Be really proud of yourself for doing this work today. Part 2 is make sure you warm up, okay? Like yesterday, we will be going through a sun salutation first to warm up the body. This goes whether if you're going to do the 5 minutes a day, just have a gentle jog on the spot for a minute before you get into your stretching. Part 3 is to be mindful, really listen into that body. Listen to what that body is telling you to do. It's okay to be uncomfortable, but we don't want any pain, right? So listen to your body. Part 4, use the props when you need them. If you feel like you need to use props, grab those props, use them. Let them enhance your practice. And then part 5 is to really focus on your breath. So really focus on that slow inhale, the slow exhale, let your body relax and calm down. And that is where the magic happens, right? That is where we gain flexibility. That is where, say you're holding some weights or strengthening, that is where the strength comes in. But not just that, that is where the magic happens within your mind as well. Our bodies are constantly go all the time, right? We've got social media. Like, what's more powerful now on social media is like 5-second reels, right? We're flicking. Our attention spans, they've lost it. Our attention spans are so short now. So we are constantly go. We're always looking at notifications. And if you think about it, when was the last time you actually sat down and did nothing? No scrolling on your phone, no reading a book, no listening to other conversations, just nothing. Probably very, very rare. This is where we need to put our focus, because our bodies work better when we have a calmer nervous system. This is the magic of yoga, right? This is why I do what I do, because we need to slow down. We need to work on our flexibility and we need to work on our strength, but we also need to quiet the mind. That is where your body gets into that rest and digest. You calm your nervous system, everything functions better. Our minds can think more clearly, our bodies can actually work better. We get better sleep, we can focus better. Overall, these three things are so powerful. So without any more rambling, let's get into our practice today. First, I'm just going to change. Okay, so we are going to start today with our warm-up in a sun salutation. So let's come to the top of our mat, feet hips distance apart, roll the shoulders back, stand nice and tall. Okay, a little bit of strength, a little bit of flexibility today with a few extra tips. Okay, let's inhale, sweep the hands up. Exhale, fold forward, nice bend in those knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands, take both feet back straight to plank. If it's early morning for you and you want to, feel free to lower the knees. If you can, let's hold this. Really grip the mat with your fingertips here. Turn on your core, turn on those leg muscles. Hold it nice and long through the neck. Feel free to lower the knees or roll forward, chaturanga, halfway. And then lower down to your belly. Okay, let's cactus the hands. Place the fingertips flat on the ground. Feet about as wide as the yoga mat. Let's look down. As we inhale, we're going to lift up, straighten those arms, look up slightly. Exhale, back down. Inhale, back up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Place the hands back next to the chest. Tuck the toes, push back up onto your knees. Downward facing dog. Let's bicycle out our legs in our first down dog here. So straighten one leg, bend the other. And then straighten the other and bend the first one. Switch through the legs, really grounding down through that hamstring. And switch. And then bend both knees, look towards the top of your mat. Big step, come back to your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the hands all the way up, come up to standing. Exhale, hands to heart center. Okay, well done. Let's bring the feet as wide as the yoga mat. Heels on the mat, toes off the mat. Hands to heart center. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, sit those hips as low as possible. Could come all the way down in your yogi squat. Maybe you're up a bit higher. That's also fine. Go to wherever your body goes to. Hold it. If you're down in your yogi squat, use your elbows to open up those knees and try to keep your hands at your heart center. So really opening up the knees here. And then have a little wiggle. So like just move the knees forward and back. Lengthen through the spine. And then we're going to place both of the hands flat on the ground. Keep your right foot where it is. Step your left foot all the way back. Coming into our lizard lunge here. And then shuffle your right foot so that it is right next to your right hand. And then again, just have a little wiggle. Rock back and forward, round and round. Feel free to drop that back knee if you want. Nice slow inhales and exhales. Remember, focus on that breath. And then walk your hands all the way to the back of the mat. So we're going to turn our left heel down on the ground, bend into your left knee, shuffle that right foot in, So it stays long, low side lunge to the back of your mat. Again, feel free to come up higher, if you need to. Okay, so from here, use your left elbow, this is if you're down on the ground, to open up that left knee. Place your left hand flat on the ground. Lift your right hand up behind you. See if you can look towards that hand. And then make a fist, but keep your thumb pointed up. Now from here, you're going to make a big circle with that thumb. So lift it up towards the ceiling, down in front of you and around. And keep your eyes on your thumb. Find a little bit of balance. Focus on that thumb. And then place the hand flat on the ground. Now notice what happened there. Did you forget a little bit about that stretch in that leg because you were so focused on the thumb? Just something to keep in mind. Okay, let's bend back into that right knee. Come back to your runner's lunge at the top of your mat. Step your left foot next to your left hand. Back to your yogi squat. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm just going to turn around so I'm not facing away from you. Okay, hands down to the ground. Take your right leg back this time. Find your lizard lunge. Again, feel free to drop that right knee. Remember to listen to your body. If it feels too much, if the floor feels too far away, and then have a little wriggle, maybe side to side, round in a circle. Long inhales and exhales. And then let's walk those hands more towards the right foot. Drop your right heel. Maybe the left toes shuffle in slightly. Low side lunge on the other side. Use your right hand to open up that right knee. Fingers on the ground. Left hand reaches up. And then let's do the same thing. So clench your fist, thumb open. Now that I've told you what might happen, notice what comes up. Thumb comes up, bring it round. Make those big circles and really focus on looking at your thumb. So sometimes when we're focusing on something, the part of our brain that's trying to keep us safe can't function all too well. If you imagine, this is why sometimes people walk out in front of cars when they're staring at their phone, because that part of their brain that says don't walk into the road isn't working. Same kind of thing happens, bring your hands back down to the mat, when we're stretching. Our bodies are saying, don't go too far, you're going to hurt yourself, I don't like this. So when you can bring your attention to something else, it can really help. Okay, let's walk your hands back, come back to that runner's lunge, place your right knee down, bring your left knee to meet the right, hover over your hands, plank pose with your knee down. Right, from here, lower down halfway, chaturanga. So keep your elbows above your wrists. Hold it here. Create that straight line from your head to the backs of your knees. Hold, hold, hold. Push back up. Lower halfway. Hold, hold, hold. Push back up. Lower down. Hold, hold, hold. And lower down to the ground. See how really you don't have to have weights, right? We can do a lot of this with our own body weight. Okay, from here, widen your feet to about hips distance, arms down by the sides, palms facing in towards your legs. Ground down through your pelvis, a little bit of back strength now. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, lift everything up. Lift up the legs, lift up the arms, lift up the chest. Long inhales and exhales here. Reach through them toes, reach through them fingertips. Couple of deep breaths. Make a pillow for your head. Relax everything down, just wiggle your hips side to side. Well done. Okay, hands next to the chest, push yourself back up, and we're going to come onto our knees. Tuck your toes under, raise on up. Raise on up, rise on up. Anyway, when we work on back bends, one of the things that we're doing here, remember I spoke about contraction and stretching. When we are stretching the front of our body, we are contracting the back. Okay, so as we contract the back, to keep that safe, we don't want to scrunch up everything in the low back here. We need to turn on them core muscles. And what tends to happen, if you back bend from your low back, you kind of get stuck here, and then the back part, the top part, can't do much. What we actually want to be doing is turning on those quad muscles, turning on that core muscle, lengthen through your low back, start to round through the top of your back, and then bring your arms behind you. Then you can lean back and find those heels, okay? And then stick your chest up and your hips forward as long as that core is still turned on slightly. Okay, we're not dumping all of our weight in that low back. Hold it here. I personally don't like dropping my head. That's completely optional, completely up to you. And then to come out of this, hand to the hip, hand to the hip. Use your core and your quads. Come back up. Okay, give yourself a little bit of a wriggle. We speak more about this in the back bending module in Fledgling Yogi, but just giving you a little bit of an insight. Just really shake it out. Come forward, give your spine a bit of a wiggle. Okay, let's try that again. So just imagine here now, in fact, just try it gently, back bending. Notice what happens first. To me, straight away, hips go forward, scrunch that low back, all right? That is how you can get injuries. Lengthen. Hands reaching backwards first. Start to bend through the upper back. Then start leaning back, grab those feet. Then push your hips forward, still turning on that core slightly. Okay, you can get a much better back bend this way. Keeps the body safe, keeps your muscles working, also works on that flexibility. And then hands to the hips. Use those muscles. Bring yourself back up. Well done. Untuck the toes. Sit back on your heels. Give your body a bit of a shake. Okay, so all of these things are really, really crucial for your body. Okay, so let's get back into a little bit of that forward folding and those hamstrings. So let's roll forward onto all fours. Bring the right foot up in between the hands. Come into your low lunge. So shuffle that front foot as far forward as you need to. Sink those hips down. Make sure your front knee is over your front ankle. The only reason for that, by the way, because you can also practice it this way, is that when this foot is a little bit further forward, we're getting a little bit more into the hips and that back quad and the hamstring. When your foot is further forward, you're getting more into that calf muscle. Okay, that's not what kind of stretch I'm going for right now. So bring that foot forward. And then slowly walk the hands back, start to straighten that right leg, toes point up towards the ceiling. Open that chest, feel that hamstring turn on. Feel free to grab blocks or to hold on to a wall. And again, to deepen that hamstring, a little bit of technique, right? Stick that bum out, drop that belly button down, look towards the toes, feel that stretch. Slow inhales, slow exhales. Now what happens here, if you can keep your left hand on the ground, if we bring that fist and your thumb again in front of you and start making those circles. Make those circles. Try and keep that belly button reaching down. And then come back. Most of the time you can find that you've gone a little bit further. Okay, let's bend back into that right knee. Right knee comes back to meet the left. Left foot comes up. Find your low lunge first. Shuffle that front foot as far forward as you need to. Sink those hips down low. Couple breaths to kind of release into the pose first. And you will find that one side feels different than the other as well. We do tend to have one side that's completely different. This can be due to the way we sit, the way we stand. If you're always crossing your legs one way and not the other way. Walk your hands backwards, start to straighten that left leg, toes point up towards the ceiling, find that half splits. Remember, you can always hold onto a wall or use props. Slow inhales and exhales. And then remember what would happen. See, actually, before we start that, stick your bum out, bring your belly button down, see where you can reach on your toes. Okay, so flex your toes, place your hand on them, see where it reaches. Okay, let's just do a little bit of testing, shall we? Now make that fist, thumb up, and start to create those circles. Going round. Keep your eyes on your thumb. Make as big of a circle as you can. Imagine still trying to get that belly button down towards your thighs. Make sure that you're breathing still. Why is it that things look weird when you look at them for too long? I feel like my thumb looks weird now. Anyway, come back to your half splits. Test it. Maybe you've gone a bit further, maybe you haven't. I have. I've gone about a toe print further in. In fact, maybe 2 toe prints. Again, these things do take time. But just interesting little things to notice in your body. The more we can do these things, the more our body releases and lets go. It's like when you do something new to start with, it always feels awkward and you're like, what on earth am I doing? But the second time you're like, oh yeah, I get it now. Then the third time you're like, yes, let's do this. Okay, let's bend into that left knee. Left knee comes back to meet the right. We're going to roll over onto our backs actually. Let's roll on over, hug those knees in. Take a few rocks with the knees. And then we're not done quite yet. Big toes together, knees wide, bring your arms up. We're going to do our reverse crow pose again. So point your toes really strong. Bring those heels as close to your bum as you can. Already, like you might be feeling this in your legs and your toes. Flex your hands, lift your upper body up. See if you can get those knees to the backs of those arms and look towards your thumbs, in between your thumbs. Make sure that you're breathing. Hold it, hold it, hold it. And then let's pulse for 10. Ready? Pulse up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold it at the top. Hold, hold, hold. Squeeze everything in. And release it down. Well done. Okay. Hug those knees in. Grab behind the thighs. Tuck the chin. Rock and roll. Back up. And come all the way up onto your tiptoes. Okay, so we're squatted down, but on our toes. You guessed it. We're just going to have one last shot at crow in today's training. So spread your fingers nice and wide. Now remember here, your fingers are the brakes, okay? So if you feel like you're going to fall forward, dig into those fingers. It's okay to have like spider hands where your knuckles are bent up a little bit, okay? If you watch people who are really good at handstanding, their hands always look like spiders, right? Their knuckles are up. So grip the mat. Feel free to place that block in front of your head if you feel like you need it. Really grip it first, okay? Get that strong, solid foundation. Lift your hips up, walk those feet in, knees on the backs of the arms, looking forward. Remember, you're kind of looking upwards. Bend those elbows, bring it to about 90-degree angle. Lift one foot, bring it close to the bum. Maybe just tap the other one. Maybe bring the other one up to your bum as well. And then maybe find a little bit of balance. I'm completely out of breath now, so I'm not going to hold that. Have a little play for a moment. And as you're playing with this, just to let you know about fledgling yogi, because if you have loved this training and if flexibility and strength is something that you would like to improve on, especially for your mental health as well. Remember, this isn't just physical, okay? As we do yoga and we go through these things, it's to boost our energy, right? We're boosting our energy. We're feeling happier. What happens when you like do a yoga pose that you've never done before? You get that like rise in adrenaline, right? It's like exciting. It's really, really fun. So you get that feeling, you get the calm after yoga feeling. It's just an amazing all-round thing. So if that is something that you want to work on, I will leave a link somewhere on the page. But what I've taught you in this 3-part training is just a little snippet. Okay, we go into full-blown detail of the 5 main poses that are really going to improve your entire yoga practice, because forward folding, back bending and hip opening are the main things to work on for flexibility. And then we work on arm balancing and inversions, because that's also very, very common in yoga. So if you want to do things like crow pose, headstand, splits, even wheel pose, touching your toes, all of these different yoga poses, they all relate back to one of these things, right? You think of, say, dancer pose. Okay, we're up on one foot, one leg's behind. What's happening here? We're doing a back bend. Okay, so back bend module. Master your dancer pose. Trying to think of another one. King pigeon pose actually is also a back bend, right? In pigeon pose, your foot's up, and then what ends up happening is we reach behind. I can't do it because I haven't warmed up or anything, but we reach behind and grab that foot with our hands. Splits. Actually, splits is a double, because we're working on our quad muscle, which is a back bend, and then our hamstring, which is a forward fold. Okay, so every single yoga pose that you can think of tends to work on one of these 5 things. So if improving your yoga poses is something that you are looking to do, then come and join us in Fledgling Yogi. I can't wait to go through this with you and to help you master your poses. Thank you so much for joining me for our last day of the training. If you do have any questions or any comments, or you want to send me your progress in crow pose or forward folds, then feel free to hit reply on the email and let me see it, or post in the Facebook group. I cannot wait to see your progress.